Hey everybody, what's going on? Bahroo here, back inside of Borderlands, the pre-sequel, and today I've got my laser weapon parts guide. I know a lot of people have been asking for this, and while it might be a little bit late, I figured why not? We're going to go ahead and release it anyway. So, today we're going to be going over what all of the different lasers mean, what their parts mean, how you can tell what part is on what gun, and all of that good stuff. So, if you want to learn about lasers, this is the video for you. So we're going to go over each of the different parts for each laser and how you can tell what's a blaster, what's a beam, what's a railgun, etc, etc, etc. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So to start off, let's go ahead and go over the manufacturer bonus of all of the different lasers. So first off, we'll start with Doll. Now, if you've played Borderlands before, you should know that Doll's special effect is that when you are zoomed in, you will get a burst when zoomed in, and this will work for any Doll laser in general. Doesn't matter if it's a railgun, a beam, a blaster. If you are zoomed in, you will get that burst fire, and we're going to go ahead and do a few bursts there so you can see that burst fire is being active. And we're going to go ahead and switch to a railgun now. So if we hip fire it, and again, it's going to be that Doll and the burst fire while zoomed. So if we hip fire it, you'll see that it has a slow rate of fire. And now let's go ahead and zoom in. And you can see that it's got that burst fire. So it doesn't matter what manufacturer or what laser type it is, it will always have the manufacturer bonus to it. Next up is going to be Tedior. So a Tedior laser, its special effect, again, if you've played Borderlands, is that you throw it whenever you reload. Rather than just, doing a typical reload, you will instead just throw it like a grenade. It does have an additional Tesla effect to it, but the Tesla does minimal damage, and I wouldn't really rely on it too much. So typically Tedior is considered one of the worst lasers in general. Definitely give that a miss. Now if you're going for Hyperion's effect is that it can get increased critical damage as well as increased accuracy when firing. That's right, so any type of Hyperion laser is going to have increased crit on. It doesn't matter if it's a beam, a railgun, a blaster. Any Hyperion laser will have increased crit on it, and the longer you hold down the trigger, the better your accuracy is going to be. And then finally for Malawan, which is considered to be one of the most overpowered lasers, as you can see the Malawan, this one has continuous bonus damage. And what this means is that the longer that you hold down the trigger, the more damage that you'll get. It takes about 2 to 3 seconds to get to that final damage. But your accuracy will become more and more unstable the longer you hold down the trigger. But you'll get that increased damage. So if you've got a railgun, you can get up to 218% extra damage on your railgun. And to prove a point real quick, no, PC doesn't have better accuracy with it. It's just a trick with the FOV. It looks like PC has better accuracy, but if we lower our FOV down, we still have the same amount of sway. It's really not too much. It's just a thing with FOV and consoles, and yeah. So that is the difference between all of the different manufacturers. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual beams themselves. So jumping into it now, we've got the actual barrels of all of the different laser types. As we can see, if we inspect this right here, this front portion right there is going to be the actual barrel of it. And what the barrel does is that it will decide what actual beam you're going to get. This is the Tedior barrel, and what it's going to do is it's going to give you that split laser effect, turning it into 3 different projectiles. We can go ahead and fire it off here. And obviously, you're not supposed to be able to actually see the weapons like this, but you know what, whatever. Anyway, so if you have a Tedior laser, it's going to be a ×3, but if it's a Tedior barreled laser on a Tedior weapon, it will be a ×6 instead. So if you're going to have a Tedior barrel, you're going to want to also probably make sure that you have a Tedior body as well, so make sure that the main laser itself is Tedior. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the Doll one now. This is the blaster, which is manufactured by Doll. Now, if you match up barrel with manufacturer, meaning if I have a Doll barrel on a Doll weaponry, not only will it increase its burst delay, or burst count rather, it will also, in addition, give you increased damage when you match the barrel to the manufacturer. So Malawan on Malawan, Hyperion on Hyperion, Doll on Doll, etc., etc. So that was the blaster. Next up, we have the railgun. This is the type of barrel that you'll see. When you see this, you will know that it is always going to be a railgun. And railguns have an extremely long range and are meant to be basically your laser snipers. So if you're interested in railguns, you're going to want to keep an eye out for this thing. And as we can see, aiming down sights with only a barrel is a really bad idea. You're not supposed to do that. Anyway, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at the final one. And that is going to be the Malawan barrel, which is the laser. This is another reason that Malawan is so overpowered, because it has the strongest laser. And like I said, when you match laser barrel to manufacturer, you get some increased damage. That is why the Rosie is so powerful, because it's got that Malawan barrel and it's Malawan manufactured. So that is all of the laser barrels and why you want to match to manufacture. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at grips. Probably the second most important part on the laser itself. So as with Borderlands 2, the grip is probably one of the most important parts of the gun itself outside of the barrel. So you might think, oh, this part right here with the trigger. No, that's not the actual grip. This is the grip right here. So this is the part that you're going to want to be looking at when you want to decide what grip you have for which gun. So we're going to go ahead and quickly go over all the different grips. This is the doll grip. When you're using this with a doll weapon, you will get an additional burst fire when aiming down sights. And traditionally, you'll end up losing a little bit of damage, but you will get a little bit of, I think, recoil reduction when using this grip. Next up, we have Tediore. Tediore will lower your damage, however, it will also increase your reload speed. Now, the reload speeds and the magazine sizes that you see on all of the different weapons here are obviously going to change a little bit, but that's because they are all with different, like, actual laser types, because the barrel hasn't been implemented. But Tediore will lower your reload speed, but is typically one of the worst grips to have. Next up, we have Malawan. This will increase your elemental effect chance. So if you're using an elemental gun and want to increase your elemental effect chance, this will go well on any type. In addition, if you match it up with the manufacturer, you will have increased reload speed and magazine size. And then finally, we have Hyperion. Hyperion's special effect is that it has increased accuracy at the cost of a lot of damage. You really want to avoid ever having a Hyperion grip on your weapon pretty much at all costs, because it's not even worth it, even on Hyperion guns at times. And here's a little example of what they all look like. So that's why I had to kind of show you it like this, because, well, yeah. Anyway, that is going to go ahead and go over all of the different grips for this. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and look at the next part, which are the stocks. So, going into stocks, you're going to want to look for pretty much two different stocks here. And like we said, it's going to pretty much be at the back end of the gun there, obviously, since it's a stock. But you're going to look for Doll or Hyperion stocks. Now, the reason for this is because they have the best stats out of all of the manufacturers, Doll being the best, Hyperion being the next one that you want to go for. So this is a Doll stock right here. And whenever you combine a Doll stock with a Doll weapon, it will increase its burst fire count by 1. In addition, it has massive recoil reduction and faster recoil recovery. Recoil recovery being how fast it takes for the gun to recenter after firing. So next we have Hyperion. Hyperion will give you increased accuracy as well and faster recoil recovery. It does not have faster accuracy recovery though, which I felt like maybe should have been a thing, but either way. And then after that, you've got Malawan, which isn't as good as Hyperion because this one just has accuracy. So it doesn't have that faster recoil recovery, unfortunately. And then finally we have Tediore, which is the worst one because, well, it doesn't really boost much of anything. Tediore stock is just plain terrible. If you have a Tediore stock, you don't want it. You really don't. So you want to always go for Hyperion, or especially Doll. Doll first, Hyperion second, Malawan third, Tediore just throw it in the garbage. Granted, stocks aren't the biggest part of everything, but they definitely do help. So that is all of the different stocks. So let's look at the final part, which is going to be sights. So one thing to note about sights is that they are basically kind of cosmetic in the fact that they don't actually do anything. The only thing that changes between the different sights is your zoom. So this is going to be Tedior, this is going to be Malawan, and then we're going to have Hyperion here. I will say Hyperion does have the largest zoom, and then we have Doll. So the sight that you're going to want on your gun is pretty much totally up to you. So I'm just going to go ahead and zoom in with each of the different guns. Again, that was Tedior. This is Malawan. This is going to be Hyperion, which has the largest zoom out of all of them. And then finally, we're going to have Doll. So whichever sight you like the most is going to be the one that you actually want to go for. But no actual effect on stats, although it does change its monetary value, but that's next to nothing. Anyway, now that we have all the parts, let's look at accessories. So now it's time to take a look at those accessories, and here we go. There aren't any. Yep, that's right. There are absolutely no accessories on the laser weapons. The only accessory that you can possibly have on a laser, it has to be Hyperion, and the only thing that you can get is a bayonet. That's it. That's the only accessory for all laser types. Only Hyperion and only a bayonet. Not entirely sure why they decided to go with this design decision, but whatever. I'm just covering the parts, man. I'm just looking at the parts. I'm just giving you the information. But anyway, that is pretty much going to wrap up laser guides and all of the different parts for the lasers. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, help support me in what I do, and don't forget to subscribe for future content. I really do enjoy, delving into the game and seeing how each of the different guns sort of work. How does the game tick and all of that, and I like bringing this kind of content to you all. So I really hope you all enjoyed it, and expect more content for both TPS and Borderlands 2 in the coming days. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Later. Yeah.